Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Blue-Black Control with Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, as our top end. We have a very creature-heavy build today. We're playing 16 creatures, and that includes Mockingbird, which is just the most fun card. It can come in as a copy of a Nethergoyf. It can come in as a copy of a Baleful Strix, Orcish Bowmasters, and at the very baseline, the floor, it is a 1/1 flyer for 1 blue mana that can help enable Kaito Ninjutsu. We are also, of course, playing lots of interaction. We've got 2 main deck Nile Spellbombs, 4 Wastelands, 2 Dazes. I decided to go down to 2 because you kind of have like phantom Dazes. Like your opponent may play around Daze even if you just have like 1 or 2 in your deck if they see it. And they may assume it's in your deck because of Wasteland. So you get some degree of equity just by having a couple of them. We've got 3 Thoughtseize to shred combo players' hands. This is the best anti-combo card right now. And we've got removal, of course, forces, but the real thing I'm excited about is just having a couple Baleful Strix. These die and they feed Nethergoyf and make Nethergoyf a bigger boy. They also just help us draw into cards, and they block problematic cards like Murktide, like Barrogoyfs that are kind of a higher top end than we are. And we've got the perfect mana base. We have a ton of sideboard tech, consigns, and harbingers for Eldrazi matchups. We've got 2 Force of Negation and 3 Hydroblasts for Moonstompy. We've got Engineered Explosives for Chalice decks, and we've got an additional 2 Nile Spellbombs. I am so high on this card right now. This is so good against Delver. It's good against Oops All spells. It's good against Blue-Black Reanimator, the most powerful deck in the format. And it's also good against Dredge, which has been popping up. This card has saved me against lands by being able to exile my opponent's Life from the Loam. It's just a really good card, and I think it's the best removal, the best graveyard card ever printed in terms of being able to control graveyards without having any real downside. The downside is, of course, it's 2 mana, and you have to cycle through it, and it is a draw trigger that if your opponent has a Bowmasters, that can be a problem. But in general, it's just so good, and I'm really happy to play all 4 of these. So we're going to play a full league. As always, this should be a lot of fun. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against Sharkcaster Mage. Unfortunately, it's not a Sharksteel player, to my knowledge, but they're likely on Cradle Nadu. We got a mulligan this no-lander. I mean, sadly, I'm going to mulligan this Wasteland only hand too. I don't like keeping hands like this, even when they have a Force of Will in them. All right, this is fine. We put back a Nethergoyf. Or no, we put back a Spellbomb and a Kaito. I mean, Spellbomb does fill the graveyard, and we can cantrip through it just in case it's good. I think we keep it. And I am big on keeping lands. Lands are the things we're most likely to draw. We could definitely just keep, 1 land, but I'm hoping that, okay, Delver. Well, I'm very glad that we kept the hand that we did, because we can do Basic Island into, Basic Island into Tamiyo is fine. They could be on Mono Blue Delver. This is like something that like people started playing recently. We don't have to play into Days if we don't want to. We can just take our time. I think I do just go get the island and ponder here, fill up our yard, and try to find a path to a basic swamp. Our opponent could be playing Stifle. I say that this could be Mono Blue Delver because somebody was playing Mono Blue Tempo recently. They did really well in a tournament, and it's a deck that I've always thought is like kind of just on the margins of being good enough, but I'm not a huge fan of Dismember, like in this meta where you're playing against like, potential stompy decks, and we're going to get our island, and we're just going to go ahead and ponder. And again, a fetch that grabs a swamp would be fantastic here. Perfect. And Nethergoyf number 2 is not bad. I don't need this ponder, I don't think. I think just in case they have the Thoughtseize, it doesn't really matter. But next turn we can swamp, and we can also... okay, Delver doesn't flip. That's great for us. Another Delver. Okay, so this is getting kind of scary. We can potentially race this, actually, with double Delver. What we can do next turn is... Nile Spellbomb's not going to do anything right now. I am kind of tempted to Tamiyo and Nethergoyf. And then if they counter the Nethergoyf, we've got the second. I think it's more important that we resolve the Nethergoyf than that we resolve the Tamiyo. Yeah, but like when your opponent does this sort of stuff, I don't think you have the luxury of being able to wait around. And then our opponent does not yet know how powerful our nether ghosts will become, but they will become quite powerful here. If they counter this, yep, that's fine. I don't need the clues. I need to get these monkeys off my back. Okay, do Delvers flip. This would be a great... Oh, no, they flip. We're probably going to lose. We're drawing wild. We're not going to be able to race this, I don't think, because they're getting the first crack, and it's just so much damage. Okay, we really needed to draw a Fatal Push there. I think Surveil is in the cards here. They might force this. I am just going to hit their graveyard now. I need the extra damage. They don't stifle. Okay, we're just not getting lucky. But part of this is I did keep extra lands, so it's my own damn fault. Dismember still plays here, but it costs them a lot of life. We're going to drop to 4. We're going to hit them for 8. We do need a removal spell next turn, or we're dead. And that's assuming... Well, they can't Merc because we managed their graveyard. Yeah. Being on the draw against Delver with the Flippy Delvers. Oh, this can block one. Actually, we can just have a flying. And they're on an exactly 2-turn clock. Yeah, let's go ahead and go in. There's no point in holding back here. I don't think they have any hasty ground creatures. This is where playing a lot of creatures is coming in handy here. I don't think they play the card that counters 1-drops. If they do, we're punished. We will copy another Goyf. Now, they can just dismember this and kill us. That's just how it works, sadly. If they have any creature removal at all, but mono blue is not famed for its creature removal. They could just actually have other colors. So we're dropping a 1. If they have like a gut shot or something, if they have, they could have red, and they could just go fetch bolt. Okay, I think that's what's happening here. Yep, they do have red. All right. So I'm glad we made them use that, because if we hadn't had this, we wouldn't know that they were on red. Again, most people are on red. We don't know if they're on black. Mockingbird, how good was that there? That was pretty good. So this is like absolutely a matchup where spell bombs come in to manage graveyard. Hydroblasts are going to come in. I'll bring in all of them. And then when we cut our forces. We cut our Thoughtseize. We can cut them off red, which is worth doing. It's rare that these decks play. Let's see. I don't necessarily cut the dazes, especially on the play. But our opponent is likely to expect them. We want all our lands. Yeah, I think this is fine. Let's do it. And on the draw, sometimes I'll swap like the daisies out for forces just because it feels really bad to like die against Delver with a whole bunch of stuff in your hand. So this is not a spectacular hand. This is a hand that dies hard to Wasteland. But if we just fetch black, we can just stick the Nethergoyf. And then over 2 turns, we can cantrip with Nile Spellbomb. But I do not feel comfortable mulling. And I do not feel comfortable fetching Underground Sea. I know that's what you're supposed to do. But it just ends so badly so often for me when I do that. So I am going to be doing a Swamp Nethergoyf. And we're just going to wait around until we draw land. So people in the comments who get tilted when I play conservatively against Wasteland, we're playing against a known Wasteland deck, and we want to actually, have a ball game here. We do have a couple things we can do, even if we don't draw land. We are the aggressor here, but we're like a very slow aggressor. Okay, they're fetching. Okay, Delver. Bobble. Okay, this is fine. They can pretty reliably flip their Delver now. But we get the first crack. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank you, lucky stars. All right, let's go ahead and throw out a Tomio. Yeah, and we can just play on our basics. We got so lucky, and our discipline was rewarded here. So I'll put Tomio out, see what they have to say about that. Now I'm going to drop a Spell Bomb. So good at managing our opponents here. Just come in for 1. I'm not going to crack this Spell Bomb for no value, and I want to wait a little bit. The damage isn't that important, but again, we are the aggressor here. So they are almost certainly going to be able to flip Delver here. They get 2 looks. And generally, it's like a 40% chance per flip. So they did opt to draw. So the first card was not a flipper, but the second in is Daze. Okay, that's good to know about. So we got information even if we're going to take 3 here. Okay, and I am going to daze this, and they'll have to daze it. Well, it's a free... No, I'm going to daze later. Because they can just daze this and replay it. So it's not a particularly strong play. And also they may be teasing, like tempting me into dazing to see if whether I have daze. Okay, they did shuffle their library. They do fly in a Volk, and this is a bolt for our Tomio most likely. Oh, Pyroblast. So we could daze and they'll just daze back. It doesn't really get us anywhere. And we don't care about getting the daze out of our hand. So we're just going to take this loss. We'll play another Tomio. That does buff our Goy further. All right, this is great. I'm just going to go ahead and pop their graveyard. We'll draw. All right, another Tomio. There's no real harm in just playing this out. And if they bolt, we have daze, but most likely we're not going to be able to successfully daze what they do. So life totals are even, but they are winning the race currently. If they bolt, I will brainstorm, and then they can daze, and then we can, exchange that. Well, I don't really want to give them any equity for their daze. If they had bolt, the time to do it would be before an attack, just to mitigate the likelihood of me, brainstorming and flipping. And this is fine if they want to waste us here. I can't do anything about that. Fatal Push would be great. All right, I'm going to go ahead and attack with both. And after the attack, I will brainstorm. That way I can get an instant in my graveyard and do more damage. Let's go ahead and brainstorm here. I am going to brainstorm with this, since they're presenting Wasteland. Okay, that worked. And if we'd played this out, we would have been able to Kaito here, but we can Kaito next turn. I think it's worth just playing a land and then Bowmastering this. I don't want this second Tomio. If they don't daze for some reason, then I can waste them. Yeah. They're taking 4. Okay, so I'm going to play out my land. I'll go ahead and plus so I don't forget. I think the simple play is to go ahead and Bowmaster here. This does give them a free Wasteland. If they want to take it, they can waste it because we know they have a daze. This is Seek the Beast. I think we daze here. I should have probably wasted before I daze because now they can bounce this back to hand. Okay. Dazing back. Well, it doesn't matter because I have to pay for the daze. So do they have a second daze? Yes, I'll pay. Now it's their turn to pay. Okay. And now this resolves. And does it resolve? Yes. Okay. We're now favored. And we'll be extra favored after we have Kaito on the table, stunning this and just beating them down. They set themselves back a land drop, which may not be consequential. So we now know that they're playing the full Rug Delver build. They should attack Tomio, but I'm keeping my life here. Okay. Fetching. So we know they have a land in hand that they chose not to replay. There's the Volk. They're thinking about wasting us. By all means. Okay, this is Merc, which I can stun. Okay. We're doing so much damage that I think it's totally fine to just let them kill Kaito. Okay, let's think about this. There's not really a lot to think about here. Let's go to combat. I think we just bounce the Orc Army here. Oh, no, because they can potentially block. Oh, wait, it's a 4/4? Yeah, I kind of have to send the Bowmaster to its death, unfortunately, but I still think it's worth it to get Kaito out and stun this. Let's see, what happens if we don't? If we just attack with Nethergoyf? They may not block, in which case then we can Ninjutsu. And then we can stun, but then this still kills Kaito. I'm not sure if that's a good deal. There's no way they block. So this will be bounced to hand, but we don't have a way to quickly recast it. The other alternative is we wait a turn. They both attack Tomio to kill her. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm just going to attack with just the Nethergoyf here. And then I have Clue Crack. And we can also waste them. We know they have another land. I don't think that's a great play. Yeah, actually, there's no real harm in just wasting them to rein in their mana. So I am going to do that. Because next turn we do have Underground Sea into Kaito. There could be a situation where I'm pretty sure they're both going to attack here. They could just ignore and attack me. I think both are likely to attack here though. But they may just hold one back to block. They're in a bad place for sure. But bolts can change things. Once this is already tapped and we get a Kaito crack, then it becomes a lot better. Actually, yeah, we could just If they attack both, we just kill them. So they have to have some answer. Okay, they're just opting not to attack at all, which I am down with. Let's go ahead and crack. All right, another Tamio is fine. That's a chump blocker. Strix is extremely powerful here. There's nothing to really regrow. I'm going to go ahead and just play out a Strix and see if they counter it. And if they do, it buffs another go further. Draw trigger. Okay, I think we can just attack with Nethergoyf here and get a trade. And then we can Tamio. They may block and then also bolt or something like that. Okay, they're double blocking. I'm trying to... I don't think there's a way they can save this. So I am going to kill the Murktide. Okay, and now I will just play out another Tamio. Wait a second. I didn't have sorcery in my yard. I could have made Murktide bigger, but it wouldn't have mattered for that purpose of combat. I only have one creature in my graveyard, so I actually do need to play this so that I can bring back Nethergoyf next turn if I need to. Brazen Borrower is good. Fatal Push is great. Yeah, I think we just... I mean, this is an embarrassment of riches, as they say. I'll take the Wasteland now. And I think embarrassment of riches. It's plus, and we will pass. They've got 2 cards in hand. We've like completely outcarded them. We have plenty of life. Probably just going to take a draw and concede. All right, I am fine playing low resource. I think we just Fatal Push. Oh, wait, we don't have the Fatal Push yet. They could have Unholy Heat. I need to plus this first. We just bounce and attack. They could have Pyro, but they probably would have used it by now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to waste now. They could have Seek the Beast here. Lightning Bolt. Targeting our Bowmaster probably. Yes, that's fine. We'll go ahead and come in for a hug. Again, if this seems like really dirtily, the approach I'm taking, I totally understand. But this is how I play these rounds. Like, they could totally just Pyro this, and we get no value out of it, basically, other than the clue we got. And that is something I accept. They're going to 3. They can replay their Delver as a 1-turn blocker. Yeah, wow, that's desperation. All right, now we have Fatal Push to kill this. Yeah, kill it. Yeah, they have 0 cards in hand. There's no way they can draw something that deals with both of these unless they're playing exactly the other card, and we would be ultimating the turn after. So yeah, that's just called beyond the play against Delver. I do think that Daze is... we used it there, so now they're going to be aware of it. I think Force is better here. I don't like going down on cards, but being able to stop like a big Murktide or stop a critical Pyroblast or something like that is pretty good. I think 2 Forces on the draw against Delver is totally defensible. All right, this is not a keepable hand, unfortunately. I hate mulliganing against Delver, but you have to have your basics. This is fine. The weakest card in this hand is the Undercity Sewers, for sure. Even against Delver, I don't like keeping this card in my hand. And we'll just hope to find some additional land. We probably can't play on basics this game, even though our opponent is choosing to. They did get wasted really hard. Last game, I think we wasted like 2 or 3 times, and they wasted us too. So it was like, the saying is, okay, they chose not to shuffle, so they've probably found a land. When 2 people are wasting one another, one of them is probably wrong. That's the thing. Okay, so now incentivized to get our swamp for sure. Yeah, I'm thinking about this. So we play the Delta, and we do have the option of getting the basic island and then getting the swamp later. We also have the option of just playing on blue and not having black at all, but it's very hard for us to win with just blue. Like, basically that restricts our options to winning with Brazen Borrower and winning with the Harbinger itself. I think we just play this and we wait. And unfortunately, we can't really do anything this turn other than Surveil. And I think that's probably what we do here. Because I do want to have both of my colors. Like, our hand is dependent on both colors. Counterbalance is a way we could lose, for sure. This card is super annoying. And I've lost many games to just arbitrary counterbalance flips. And you can say, well, that's why counterbalance is a good card. I don't think it's a good card. I genuinely do not. Okay. So we are going to Surveil here. Let's see if they go ahead and use it before they're thinking about it. Yeah, this is like the most frustrating card to come out of Delver, basically. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and surveil. And I think I'm just going to go for Strix and hope that they don't counter it. We're looking for land number 3. Fetch for swamp would be exceptional. Land number 3. And Daze is fine. Just don't want the blind counter flips. That's like the really annoying thing. But most of their deck is 1-drops. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, Trop. We're in. That is a 2-for-1, regardless of what happens. But this could be like an N for 1. This could counter like 5 or 6 cards over the course of the game. I don't think they have Daze or they Daze there. It's fine. I'm not ready to Harbinger yet. And I want to ensure we have Daze protection. I'd like for them to ideally tap out of blue. I could test with Nile Spellbomb. Nile Spellbomb is good against their deck. But if they have a Brainstorm in hand, it just completely screws up my line. I think what I need to do is I need to go for Bowmasters. And I'm just going to chill and block for a few turns. The longer the game goes on, the better it gets for us. We just need to get through this initial hump. They have their trick of being able to, potentially flip Delver and stuff like that. But once they burn through their Brainstorms, the game gets a lot better for us. Okay, I'm going to attempt to Bowmaster this. Do you have a 2-drop? If you have a Brainstorm that is backbreaking. Whoa, Scoob. That was freaking huge. We don't know what's on top of their deck. They do. I think we take our value and we hold our Pyroblast. Because they could easily have a 1-drop on top of their deck that we're just walking right into. I don't need this body that much. Yeah, and they get the draw. I mean, I just didn't feel comfortable. 1-drops are by far the most common. You might be saying well, eventually you have to use your 1-drops, right? And we will. Okay, this is annoying. Note that the bolt that could have killed our Baleful Strix is instead hit our Bowmaster, so Baleful Strix is still out defending us. I really want a basic. Oh, it's not. It doesn't get the swamp. Yeah. I mean, if they just clear this, we're super screwed. They will eventually draw a Baleful. They have Brazen Borrower in their deck, and they can bounce that out even if we take care of red. And they could just have a Bolt or a Hydroblast, and then we're locked under our own Harbinger. Not a good place to be. I don't think we can go for it. I am going to test with the Nile Spellbomb here. I think most likely this gets countered. Okay, yeah, they have DRC on top. That's bad news for us. I'm just going to play this out because it can shuffle, and we're going to chill. This thing has already been a 1-for-1, and it's just the beginning of the game. They have Bolt here. We have to Hydro it. I'm so tempted to Hydro this, though. I have Fatal Push for it, though. I can test with Fatal Push. They could get value if it resolves. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to Hydro it. I'm just going to accept that if they have a Bolt or something to kill our Merc, the game is over. This is such a positive matchup, and yet we're going to lose. So this resolves. That's good for us. They can't attack. That's good for us. Nethergoyf will resolve. That's good for us. Unless they want to Brainstorm or Fetch to increase the likelihood, and we can just recast it later. Not this turn. Daze, that's good to know about. All right, we're in our Merc. This is not quite as big. Is there a way we can make it bigger? We can Harbinger here. We have enough material on the table. I think I am going to Harbinger here. This is our window. And this could be the death of us. But if they counter this for some reason or remove it, Nethergoyf gets pretty big. Okay. Why are they floating red with the counterbalance trigger on the stack? Are they going to pyro it? They're pyroing that. Okay, so hear me out. I think what we have to do here now is we do have to fetch Underground Sea, and then we have to Fatal Push our own Harbinger. Because we're just... Can we race this thing? We hit for 5. They hit for 5 first. Wait, we hit for 6. Okay, let's think about this. So, they have to hit us 4 times. We only have to hit them, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7 potentially with the Harbinger. I'm going to attempt to race them. We know they're drawing a Daze. Yeah. This might be a folly. They have another Merc. That's a huge problem, and we will lose the race. Oh, wait. And if they... Yeah. We'll just chill. They can draw first blood. We're hitting for potentially 7 here. They're drawing a Daze, which is dead. Yeah, they may not have anything else going on. All right. Second Murktide kills us, but they would have cast second Murktide first. That would have also fetched the swamp. If they kill our Netherglyph somehow with like, I don't know what they would kill it with. Okay. Okay. We're doing it. So now we're in homeostasis. Brainstorm. I'm going to fire it off. Like the longer we wait, the higher the likelihood that they find their own Brainstorm to ensure that this gets countered. Okay, they have DRC off the top. We are just going to chill. So DRC is a dead draw. We draw Brazen Borrower. That breaks this open. Hydroblast. Not a terrible card. Doesn't do anything here. Let's see. Hydro. We have... What type are we missing? We're missing sorcery. So we draw a Ponder, and then Netherglyph can start beating face. They have 3 Murktides in their deck that they're drawing 2. Delver is bad news because it changes the math and it allows them to kill us in 2 swings. They can even attack with the Delver and hold the other one back. Yeah, that's bad news. Okay, so I'm tempted to just swing with the Harbinger here because they block it. We have Fatal Push, but it could be countered. We have Hydroblast for their Darcy. We can fetch a basic Swamp, which doesn't really matter. I don't think this game's getting better for us if we wait. Oh, it's so hard. Because like this doesn't necessarily flip. This flips 40% of the time, but once it flips, they can just send it in once, take a chunk off, and then the second strike, they would have to hit us twice. I'm going to wait. My instinct is wait like another turn cycle. Shouldn't flip, but it might. Doesn't flip. Okay, and now we're just in the same position we were earlier. Known cards in their hand, Daze, and DRC. I'm going to attack now because I've got multiple avenues of attack. They block here. If they take it, that's good for us. All right, does this get in? If they have a Brainstorm, we're totally screwed. Ponder. Ha! What a bad card to have on top of your deck in this situation. Do you want to force this? They have a Ponder on top. We cannot Hydroblast this. We have to let it happen. Oh, yep. What do they exile? They exile a Ponder, which they can't immediately cast, and a DRC. So DRC is scary. Now their top card is unknown. They are forcing here. I can't do anything here, unfortunately. I'm going to attempt to push now. Just get information. Top card is Daze. That's good to know about. Okay, we got rid of that. Now we have to deal with double DRC. Do we want to play out this land? I think we do. Yeah, just in case they have double Daze. They can get this Questing Druid online. I'm not feeling good about this game. They drop to 8 here. Shuffle away the Daze. I think they have double DRC. So they're going to cast this first, and then they can DRC, and then it grows. Man, that force was important. I'm going to attempt to counter this now. It's easier to deal with it on the stack. Then now we'll know what the top card is. Yep, they have a freaking lightning bolts. Yeah, this game's over, unfortunately. Counterbalance made all the difference here. This does happen. It's frustrating, but yeah, this card. I think they got at least 3 cards for it. Now they ponder. This gets bigger. Our ground game gets worse. Trying to think of what we could draw at this point to get us out of this, because we're just basically dead next turn, and they're going to get more fuel. They kept in force against us, which is notable, because I think a lot of Delver players wouldn't necessarily keep it in on the play against just blue-black tempo. And they knew we were blue-black tempo. They had no reason to expect us playing Reanimate. But it worked out for them. That was the critical force. Like we force, we get to ping that, we take over the game from there. They might even have more spells to cast. They might have a Brainstorm in hand to, like, if we draw a Brainstorm right now and find like a Baleful Strix and stuff like that, we might be able to get back into it, but that presumes that they don't have a 1 or a 2 on top. Okay, we'll take it. All right, let's do Brainstorm into them not having a 1-drop on top. Good game. All right, I'm excited to feature this deck on the channel. They are likely on Black-white Blink with Ketramose. They are a Wasteland deck, but we do want to Thoughtseize them immediately. So I'm going to do that. They play 3 swamps and 3 plains. Wasteland is not likely to do much here. They've got a very responsible mana base. 2-color mana base. We're expecting Overlord plus Belia combo. Emperor of Bones combos with Ketramose. 3 Skyclave Apparition. Tons of respect for like One Ring and stuff. Yeah, let's crack open their hand. All right, and it looks like they're on that deck. Bowmasters for sure here. I don't care about Relic that much. Like it affects my my Nethergoyce, and it does combo with Ketramose. Let's take a look at their hand again. They are going to play on basics here, which is smart. We're going to have to work through double plow, but you know, Baleful Strix does that. Now Spellbomb is not a good card. We'll just cycle through it. I'm going to go ahead and just draw deeper into my deck. And we'll just play all non-basics here, so make it harder for them to waste us off an individual color. Relicking. It's going to take up a lot of clock. All right. Draw trigger. Okay, we have Force. I don't think Force is good against their deck at all. They may just hold their plows for now and not bother killing our stuff. Well, that is a Force. I will force that. Will I? Yeah, I mean, it kills our creature and it's something we have to deal with later. So it sucks that they drew that because that's like probably the best card in their deck against us. But we're going to deal with it. Okay. So at this point, I mean, putting cards in exile does actually turn on Ketramose, but we are going to hit their graveyard. I've got a Surveil. I'm just going to come in for a hug. The way we win is Kaito for sure. Like they're going to outvalue our deck very quickly. I mean, they just outvalued us that by forcing us to take a 2-for-1 there. Okay, Bowmasters potentially good against opposing Bowmasters. We'll chill. We'll Surveil in step. Thoughtseize is fun. They're going to take our Bowmasters. Fatal Push does kill Ketramose. No, wait, it's indestructible. So we have literally no way to kill it. Okay, they're not finding more land, which is good for us. Wasteland might do something here if they draw one of their 3 Caracases. This goes in the yard. Dodge the land. It's like drawing a card basically at this point. Please fire off the plow. Thank you. Oh, they're exiling graveyards? Okay, that's fine. They're worried about Murktide, I guess, which is totally legit concern. They do draw a card there. Ponder's great. Let's find something good here. Mockingbird is definitely fine. Yeah, I think Mockingbird's fine because we can just copy the Strix. They're tapped out so they can't plow in response. Yeah, this card has been so good for me. I love this card. It's a Bowmasters when it needs to be a Bowmasters. It's a Baleful Strix when it needs to be a Baleful Strix. No reason to brainstorm now. We'll wait and see one more card. But this Fatal Push is looking pretty bad right now. But our opponent, how many creatures do they play? 28? They just haven't drawn any. They've got 5 cards in their grip. There's a Wasteland. They're going to need their mana. They shouldn't fire it at us. It's fine. If I can ninjutsu Kaito back to my hand, I can actually target that. Let's see. No, I can't currently. It has to actually come into play before I can Mockingbird that. But I have Mockingbirded this before, and it's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. All right. Let's go ahead and... They're tapped out of Bowmasters. Brainstorm here. Gosh, this Force is so stinky. I'm going to put it back along with this land. We're going to go ahead and shuffle it away. And then I'm just going to brainstorm again for momentum. Because like we do need momentum here. They are going to have big creature bearing down on us. Can we find the Kaito? We can't, but we do have good stuff. We can Tamio and Nethergoyf here. I mean, there's a possibility that Daze does something here. I'll put this Fatal Push back deepest. I do want to do both of these creatures this turn, though. Maybe we go ahead and waste our Wasteland this turn. Yeah, I'm going to do that. We're going to waste the Wasteland. Again, probably the best we can hope for against their 6 basic lands deck. Nethergoyf comes in. Tamio comes in. They don't have any sweepers that I know of. We should be fine just to beat them down and try to race this thing. They are plowing Tamio, which is fine. And we're drawing 2 dead cards here. Mostly dead. But I figured getting the bum rush down was superior. It's another annoying plow out of the hand. And so we're swinging for 2 and hopefully dazing something here. And we can daze and surveil. But we do want our current top card. We don't necessarily want it. We're the aggressor here. Come on, give me some of the daze. They have a Felia in the yard. What did they get back with Overlord? I was so distracted. I didn't even check. Okay, so they have an Emperor of Bones. I'd love to freaking daze that. They're not playing into it. All right. They are going to have a giant dude before we were able to beat them down, unfortunately. Oh, Felia. I do want to be able to surveil, so I will do this. Yeah, Felia is insane here. All right, I'm fine with losing that mana. We've got a Fatal Push. Yeah, and we could have Fatal Pushed it too. Borrower is actually phenomenal because we can bounce that to hand. And we will get a window to do that before it goes off because we've got one more turn cycle with it. Scrubland, Skyclave, that's fine. So this can target 3 drops now, and we can just get a 2/2, which is great. So our 2-for-1 is just continuing to be really awesome. And I believe we have this now. Yeah, we just tempoed them. We're so lucky this game. Just going to do it now. And we have this waiting in the wings, which dies to a Bowmaster ping or, the slightest breeze. But they're at 5. Ketramose would be huge here because it would come in as a creature. There are plenty of cards in exile. And it has lifelink. Emperor is strong, but they don't have the mana to immediately use it. Relic. Okay. Let's just get rid of a land. We're going to exile our Fatal Push so we can't recur it. That makes sense. All right. We drew not necessarily the best possible, but a very good card here. I think we go ahead and use it just to minimize the damage it can do. I hope this isn't... Okay, in the scoop. Wow, that was a freaking awesome game. Now, get ready to lose games 2 and 3 because we are structurally... This is like a 20-80 matchup. This is a horrible matchup for us. Luckily, we don't have anything in the sideboard that's good. These Nile Spellbombs don't do anything. I mean, technically, they hit their yard. It's not good enough. If there's anything we can board in that's better than that, anything will be better. Technically, Consign can stop triggers, but it's not very good. Engineered Explosives is probably the best card just because it is removal, even though it sucks. They have huge curve and everything like that. I'm trying to think. Now Spellbomb is probably actually better than Engineered Explosives. So yeah, I think we don't board anything. I don't think Harbinger is good enough. We're also kind of feeding their plan of getting Ketramose out. They only have 2 Ketramose in their deck, and we're not going to see it every game. Daze was good there, but it's pretty bad on the draw. They'll probably play around it even if we are playing cards EE can only hit 2 drops. They don't even have that many 2 drops in their deck. Let's take a look. So technically, yeah, Orcish Bowmasters, Felia. So we can hit 11 total creatures in their deck. 11. That is not good enough. They don't have any non-creature permanents to kill. Yeah, I just can't imagine EE being worth it. I think we probably are better off with the Dazes in. And the graveyard thing is just, it's not worth playing additional ones, but it's not worth taking out when you've got nothing to deal with. I'd love to take these forces out, but they may actually be important. All right. So again, I hope I don't seem too gloom and doom about this, but just when that counterbalance resolved, I kind of knew yeah, this is not looking good for us. I've got this advantage bar in my mind, and I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm not going to try to keep you in suspense I have a chance to win, because I think it's unlikely. Even if we play perfectly, even if it was freaking, who's a really strong control player, Bosch and Roll, Max Torsion, Andrea Mengucci, somebody like that, on that level, I don't think that they would necessarily be structurally favored here. So this is a terrible hand, but every single card matters. Every single card. We do need to tempo them. They can just fetch basics, but they do play some non-basics in their deck. I mean, they're going to fetch basics. Oh, deck, don't do this to me. Okay, this is as good as we can expect. We're going to keep. Kaito is a late game card, but it's the best card in our deck. But we don't want extra Brainstorms because Brainstorm loses to Bowmaster. We do want the Fatal Pushes, but they just 1-for-1, and a lot of their creatures have ETB triggers. I think we got to put the Kaito back. We got to hope to just draw into like a lot of Baleful Strix like last game. This game is... I'm not going to concede yet, but like it's already looking super duper bleak. We'll just chill. We'll get a Surveil trigger. We're not going to play on basics this game. Unless they play a Wasteland right now. Okay, well, I guess we are going to play on basics. And I'm just going to wait and be disciplined and fetch now. And I'm going to Brainstorm and I'm going to try to find another land. I'm going to let that resolve. And then I'm going to hope that we rip a black source so we can Fatal Push it. We've got 3 Fatal Pushes. I'm not going to burn a Brainstorm on this. And I might lose, but I definitely don't win in a game. Like if we just don't find land, we lose anyway. Okay, so now we can Underground Sea and we can Fatal Push and they have to fire their land at it. And then we have Tamiyo who can potentially create clues if they don't have Karakas. If they do have Karakas, Tamiyo is like an obvious pitch to force. So the question is what's going back? And I think one of our Brainstorms is going back and probably one of our pushes. Yeah, we'll do that. And now we're just going to go Underground Sea here. And we're sending our land into the Abyss, but we are shuffling it away and we have a chance to find another land next turn. And we're going to go ahead and Fatal Push now while they're tapped out. Their deck is very honest. It doesn't do like, other than Solitude, I don't think they have any free spells. So I fully expect this to get wasted. They just go ahead and do it, and then they pass. Okay, so they're on 1 land. We're on 1 land. We were on 1 land. Okay, I'm going to play this out, and I don't think it's going to get any better for us. I'm just going to play Tamiyo now, and if they have removal, they have removal. I do want to Brainstorm and flip her because she's a lot harder to deal with. They probably don't have Prismatic Ending in their deck. Yeah, they don't have Prismatic Ending. They do have like Disruptor Flute and stuff like that. Okay, and I'm not going to waste here. I can't believe we're still in this game. Let's go ahead and attack. This is the time to waste. Or this is the time to plow. I'll float. All right, we're coming in for a hug. So we played the Wasteland last turn, right? All right, so they absolutely could have plow here. We don't want to just sit still anyway. I'm going to go for it. I need a land. All right, unpunished with the plow, but we didn't find land. I'll just put these Fatal Pushes back. We'll draw them later. They have to remove this somehow. They have a lot of cards that remove it. The 3-drops. Skyclave. They don't draw land. We could be just super lucky. What? What an upset victory. I did never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that we could win 2 games against that deck. That deck is really solid. The deck has been winning. My friend, I want to shout him out. He's awesome. Morsaw, he's not currently the trophy leader. Or yeah, he's tied as trophy leader. He got 6 trophies with the deck we just beat. It's a really good deck. Do not count it out. Just because it doesn't have force and it collapses pretty hard to combo does not mean that it can't grind some trophies. And we just beat it 2-0. That felt amazing. See you in round 3. All right. Round 3, we were against famous non-blue-black Reanimator deck player Magic Dads. Okay, so I think what we do here, this is a keep. This is a snap keep. And I think we just get the Netherglyph clock started. And we hope, let's make some good content for chat. Indeed. That's what it's all about. Good content. I like to refer to my content as art. No, I was just joking. Don't take yourself too seriously, right? All right. You're eating your Subway sandwich and you're trying to like squeeze in a little bit of legacy in the middle of the daily grind, right? That's the way it works. All right, let's see if we can jam. I think, yeah, Netherglyph. And then they Thoughtseize the force out of my hand and then they turn 1 me with protection. But we have the Netherglyph on the table and we start beating them down. I think that's the way forward. I don't want to ponder. I don't want to give up a blue card because then they can just take the ponder. Yeah. I will be stunned if they're not on Reanimate, but this hand's fine against non-Reanimate decks. I don't know if they've ever played a non-Reanimate deck. And I'm leading with Underground Sea because I may need to Wasteland and Ponder next turn. Just because I'm so confident they're not playing Wasteland. They may be playing Blood Moon on in the side. I'll pull up their deck list post board. Delta, Lotus Petal. How nutty is their 8-card hand over there? Yeah, when Reanimator doesn't mulligan, it's very scary. They have everything they need in their opening hand, and they've got plenty of additional gas for reserve. All right, Delta coming through. Basic Swamp. Dark Rit. Not going to be Grief, thankfully. Ball Therapy, Naming Force. And now we're dead. This is the turn 1 with protection. And there was really nothing we could have done about it. Show and Tell. All right, this is probably Gristlebrand. I will put my land into play. Oh, Archon. Yeah, that does it too. We have Brazen Borrower to get this out of play. I'm going to discard the Wasteland. I don't mind playing against this version of Reanimator. As I've said many times, it is the blue-black version that is the problem. And a lot of people don't understand why it's a problem. And I will just say, I could make this argument till I'm blue in the face. It's just like having to argue that Nile Spellbomb is like an obligatory main deck inclusion. Play a bunch of leagues and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so these unfortunately don't do anything. Like Baleful Strix would be nice if we weren't going to have to sacrifice it. We need exactly basic land, Brazen Borrower to stay alive. And let's see. So they're hitting us for 9, and then they're hitting us for 9 again. So we're dead regardless of whether we Thoughtseize. We're going to Thoughtseize. Because, Tamio. I mean, Tamio's a way to crawl back into the game. Yeah, the thing we need is so specific that it's unlikely we'll ever find it. I'm going to just get more information about the deck. Like, I didn't know they were playing. Okay, they are playing Sneak Attack. It probably makes more sense to hit the Emrakul because that way that removes the Cabal Therapy, and then they don't have anything to Sneak Attack in the unlikely event that they Sneak Attack. So it looks like they're playing some sort of version of Reanimator. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. They're learning more about our deck, but they can just presume we're basically blue-black tempo. Okay, they play the known land from hand, so we know 0 cards in their hand, other than Sneak Attack, so we know 1. Okay, so I'm just going to discard this. Tamio actually is important to helping us draw back into the game. Ponder cannot save us. Wait, we could draw a land, and then we could Ponder into the Brazen Borrower? Yeah, so we do need to keep the Ponder. Now we take 6. This is a very fast clock. They have amassed additional resources. Their life total is flush. Okay, and this doesn't change anything, like really. I mean, it reduces the likelihood that we get a Brazen Borrower. Okay, good game. All right, so post board, we're bringing in the Nile Spellbombs. Very good against them. 1, 2. We're bringing in Hydroblast. We did see red cards. Even though it's not a lot of red cards probably, it's still worth bringing it in. And then the Force Negations definitely come in. Don't discount just fighting on the stack. I think Orcish Bowmaster is pretty bad. It can block indefinitely, but if you want to kill somebody dead, Nethergoyf is your friend. I'm going to pull out the pushes. I don't think they play... Well, let's pull them up. Okay, so here's their Grixis Reanimator list that they've been rocking as of... what is this? This is like 2 days ago. So 2 Atraxa, 3 Archons, 4 Gristlebrand. So I do think we want to keep the Bowmasters in 2 Therapy, 4 Entomb, 4 Faithless Looting, 4 Reanimate, 4 Thoughtseize, 3 Shallow Grave. This is important. Good Help is hard to dig up. I love that. Good Help is hard to find, and it's even harder to dig up because usually they're just dead. But in the land of Magic the Gathering, they can come alive again. Okay, so this version we're looking at didn't have the Show and Tells, and the main deck Show and Tell. Let's see if we can find a list that is Show and Tell. I don't see one. Okay, so I still think they're likely on Gristlebrand. That's like a pet card that like Reanimator players love. So I think we just take out the Nethergoyfs. It's not spectacular. It is a clock, but Bowmasters actually structurally affects their deck in a way. I don't think Harbinger is good enough. Consign's not good enough. Mockingbird is pretty bad, but it turns on Kaito as blue. I don't want to get rid of blue cards Because we already are. I mean, we could bring in Harbinger for additional blue. I think we're good on blue. Like, there's no blue count that's too high. Like 40 blue cards in your deck, you're still going to encounter situations where you wish you had an additional blue card. This is a mulligan. We can't keep 0 interaction spells and hope that they have a slow start. This is great. We've got a Force, we've got a Nile Spellbomb, and we'll just have to hope that they don't go... I'm going to assume they're using the graveyard. I know they use Show and Tell, but I'm going to assume they're using a graveyard too. Card that goes back... Wasteland's probably better because they're playing 3 colors than normal. I'll just put the Underground Sea on the bottom, and then we can just fetch basics just in case they're playing... I mean, it's pretty free to do. Our deck doesn't really use multiple colors. It might use 2 blue to cast Brazen Borrower later from Exile, but let's get real. That's going to get pitched to Force. They're a combo deck. So they're not playing Unmask, I don't think. Unmask kind of sucks. Oh, they are playing Unmask. Yeah, Unmask is definitely the weakest discard spell, but it's better than Duras. Because there are creatures that can wreck their day. All right. We have our 2 points of turn 0 interaction or turn 1 interaction. Thankfully, we get to be on the play. Next game, we'll have to win on the draw. This deck is not as good at beating combo decks as the straight up, murder machine blue-black tempo with the 4 dazes. But hopefully we did open with Swamp, so they know they don't need to play around days. So maybe that was a punt. I don't know. I didn't want to fetch. I wanted to reserve the right to surveil if we're just chilling, because we do get to situations where we're just chilling and they can't go off and we need to close. If you want to watch an epic game with incredible luck, both extremely bad variants and incredibly clutch variants, watch round 10. Yes, I played a full double league in the previous video, and my final round was against Reanimator, not blue-black Reanimator, but combo Reanimator. And watch that. It was just an incredible example of why you need to keep a whole lot of threats in your deck, even if maybe they're just on blue-black. No. Because we saw the Show and Tell. Yeah, they're on some sort of Grixis build. I mean, when you're as good at playing Reanimator as Magic Jazz is, with how many pages? 10 pages of Reanimator finishes. They have played Reanimator so much over the years that they can just style on you. All right. I doubt they crack this pedal. I bet you we get a turn. I do think Wasteland is good here. We can exploit land as a potential choke point. They did not shuffle their Ponder. The alternative to wasting them is, of course, just putting a Bowmasters in. I'm going to go for this because another land and they have Show and Tell. Then next turn, we'll go get the basic island and we'll Bowmaster them. And that'll add 1 extra turn that they have, but their top decks are probably not that great. They're drawing a bunch of A's and B's, and hopefully not a lot of land. Generally, Reanimator decks don't play a lot of land. Okay, or they could just have the land that gives them 2 mana. So we're going to need a Force here, unfortunately, if they go for the Show and Tell. Yep, I'm not about to let that happen, not on my watch. And now, we know that they have at least 1 card worth putting in from Show and Tell in their hand. We're going to need to use this turn cycle. So, yeah, I'll just hold this Surveil up for later. If they Blood Moon us, that'll be sad. Uh-oh. It's not good. Okay, that's a relief. I don't have to crack my Nile Spellbomb to try to draw into interaction here. All right, so we've got a threat on the table. Their Tomb does damage to them. We just need to get across the line a few times. Strix is an above-average draw. I'm going to play with the land, and I'm going to play the Strix because I could draw a Thoughtseize. All right, Wasteland. Gosh, I should have freaking... I didn't want to Surveil. Oh, I should have just... Yeah, that was a punt. Wasting them might have been, very important there. The good news is if they go, the route of a single attacker, we can best that. If they have Sneak Attack here, we're going to waste them off the red source before they can do anything with it. And again, we do have creature to sack plus blocker for Archon if they go Sneak Attack here. They're going black. Dark Rit. Uh-oh. Are they going to hardcast something? Sneak Attack. Okay. If this is Emrakul, we are in doo-doo. All right, let's grab. Surveil. Looking for Brazen Borrower exactly. I will hit that red source. We do not have the clock to beat them down at this point. We do need a red source. So I think we just hit their reds, or I'm sorry. We do need a Brazen Borrower here. I think we go ahead and play Automio here. I'll swing first. And the reason I'm playing Automio is clues can potentially draw us stuff. And drawing stuff is how we potentially close the game before they can find what they need to win. I'm going to keep this up. I might crack it actually to flip. Because flipping, we can regrow a force. Oh, well, we're not going to do anything this turn except attack and hold up force negation. Yeah, and then we've got double draw if we absolutely need it. I don't think... I mean, for all we know... Well, okay, let's think about this. Let's not play scared. Let's play rational. So, we flip Tomio. Next turn, we can regrow a Force of Will. That does temper... But we're likely to draw a blue card anyway. So, Force Negation is likely to be live in case we need it. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Draw trigger. Okay. Now we just brainstorm instead of doing the now spell bomb, and we still have the spell bomb in a pinch. I think that's the superior play. All right. We did not find anything to go with our force negation, which had we just done the spell bomb thing, we would have. So let's put this back. We don't need this. Now I'm going to play this out, and now we still can crack the spell bomb and draw if we absolutely need to find a blue card. There's 7. Okay. We are getting very lucky here. I am going to reroll the force this turn. Oh, that's the Bowmasters we left there, isn't it? Okay, well, let's go ahead and minus Force of Will. I'm going to main phase this to do some damage, get their life even lower. Now they have 3 life. Okay, yeah. Actually, they would have had 2 life. They wouldn't have been able to tap their tomb. Okay. That's what we call kind of reacting to what they're doing. What are the odds they're playing like basic mountain or anything like that? They do have petals. I don't like bringing in... I mean, this is not the deck. Just remember that. They don't have any basics other than these swamps, probably. But we are giving them like a blue source. So basically, we're just cutting them off red, which Faithless Looting might not even be in their deck. Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky because like we really don't know how deep they are into the show and tell. We do know that our current deck configuration does address show and tell pretty well. We don't know if we're going overboard on Nile Spellbomb, but it's certainly not bad to have the graveyard covered. But it's entirely possible they're just playing black for mana acceleration and disruption, and that they don't have entombs in their deck. It is entirely possible. They ended the game with like 5 or 6 cards in their deck, so we really don't know. I don't think it's worth cutting Nile spell bombs for Harbingers because they probably are on some continuum where they turn the dial more toward Reanimate, or they turn the dial more toward show and telling things into play. Kaito can potentially lock down, like, let's say hypothetically they do get a giant lifelink monster into play. Kaito can lock it down and we can potentially attack through it. I think we're going to keep the deck the same it is. I'm not going to bring in the Harbingers. It may seem like the tiniest little thing to like think about pedantically, but I pedantically think about everything. I'm like obsessed with playing optimally. Speaking of playing optimally, this is an optimal hand if they have a slow start, but let's assume that they do not. This is really good if they don't just turn 1 us, because Thoughtseize is really powerful against them. Now Spellbomb also very good, but we can't both Thoughtseize and Now Spellbomb. I do think we go for a force. They're not mulling. This is a force hand. We're going to put back, I want to keep Hydroblast for sure. But at the same time, I want to be able to draw. I think we don't actually have a way to deploy Strix readily. So I'll put that back. And I will put back Wasteland. And then we've got 2 points of interaction. Wasteland could be really good, though. Yeah, I think it should be Wasteland. All right. We're most likely to draw a land. This turn, like what we'll probably do is play that out, hold it up for a Hydroblast, and then we'll just surveil. I wouldn't be surprised if we get discarded here. Discard will most likely take Force of Negation. They could pivot to like a more creature-heavy plan, which punishes this for sure. Opponent goes Delta. Cracking. Basic swamp. So I'm glad I put back that wasteland. I don't think it would be that impactful here. They almost certainly have both disruption and a combo because they kept 7, and they're not going to keep, slow hands against us. They might, but I think the fact that we showed that we have like now Spellbomb in our deck. Okay, they're exiling to unmask. This is fine. I'm going to let it resolve. I'm not going to go down 2 cards when we can go down 1. Oh, they're exiling. They're targeting themselves. Okay, this is a force, and I am going to pitch Hydroblast at this point. They could have a second one. Okay, so Gristlebrand is very alive. We ponder. It doesn't change anything. It's better to surveil here than to ponder, because we might find they probably have a second reanimate effect, and we're probably just dead. Okay, wow, that's super lucky. Okay, so we're gonna go and get the surveil. Yeah, they decided to go all in on that. That's a good card, but it's not what we're looking for. I mean, it closes the game. I really want to draw a force. I really want to draw a force. That's what it comes down to. Okay, we drew one anyway. That's nothing to complain about. We'll pass. We've got Bowmasters up now. We'll instep Bowmasters, and then we'll... Okay, 3 mana. I'm going to Bowmaster now. Okay, and we'll get 2 triggers, and we'll have a little bit of an army here. For the record, what they're doing here is objectively way less powerful than what just straight optimized blue-black Reanimator is doing, and I want to applaud them for continuing to experiment in the space instead of just, thinking different like everybody else. All right. If we draw land, Kaito is going to do some serious damage. We're not pulling... Yeah, I'm going to go like this, and then we'll go to blocks. We could still very much lose here. Oh, they have their own Bowmaster? Oh, Shallow Grave. So they're going to put Gristlebrand back into play just to block and gain a bunch of life? I don't understand this play. Maybe they really just want to get rid of our Bowmaster here and gain a bunch of life? Am I missing something? Are they going to draw a bunch of cards? If we go ahead and put Kaito in, we lose this, but they're not disincentivized from drawing. I think now they know we have Kaito. If they use the ability, we want to have a giant guy in play. Yeah, I'm just going to... Because they could freely use it. Wait. Oh, yeah, they can still use it now. I didn't think about that. They can draw a bunch of cards now. That was a misplay. They should definitely use it now if they're going to use it, because I could rip a Bowmaster. Yep, 7 cards. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good play on there. Very heads up. I'm not used to instant speed interaction. They don't have force, though. We've probably lost. I think putting Kaito in wouldn't have really mattered here. Yeah, because it didn't occur to me, it still survives the combat, of course, and they can just draw afterward. So, I'm learning. All right, what do we draw? Force of Will is not going to be enough. They've got way too many cards. They've almost certainly got reanimation type effects. So options, we could take the force. I think we just need to find another Bowmaster, maybe. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, that's not what we wanted. Play that out. We can't even play it out. We're just going to pass and lose. Yeah, because they've got 15 cards. I'm going to concede. I'm not going to play it. Yeah, that was an embarrassing way to lose. There wasn't really anything we could have done there, though. I did bin a Kaito looking for a second one. We get the Kaito in, it doesn't matter. It does not change a damn thing. Kaito just dies when they swing next turn. So, yeah. Okay, let's jump over to round 4. Okay, so the lesson from the previous round is don't attack with the Bowmaster itself. Obviously, there are lots of situations, but it just didn't occur to me that not only would they have a lot of reanimation effects because they were showing also they had show and tell and sneak attack and stuff, but that they would have instant speed. It just wasn't on my radar. Had we not attacked there, they draw. They block the Orc Army, which we have to present some sort of clock. We can't just sit around. They block the Orc Army. They gain 7. Then they could draw a bunch, but we get a new Orc Army, and they would take a bunch of pings. And if we'd done that, then I think we would have been okay, but they probably still would have been able to figure out a way to win. Okay, so let's clear our head, and let's go into round 4. We are 1-2 after having lost to Delver with Counterbalance. And Magic Dad's Reanimator. We're up against Mason Grody. Likely Omnitell. Yeah, as of today. So we'll presume they're on Omnitell. It's not a keepable hand against Omnitell, even with the Thoughtseize. This is great, actually. Like it's basically the same hand as the previous one, but we have I'll just put back the Swamp, I think. And I can fetch it if I need it. But I want to open Thoughtseize and hope that disrupts them enough that we get a few turns to sculpt and draw into other interaction. And these are the kinds of matchups like where Daze really comes in handy, and we don't have Daze. We only have 2 Dazes. And I'm fine playing this out in the blind because this also shows them that we might have Daze. Okay, so they do not have an enabler. They just have a bunch of cantrips. They only have 1 land. If we take the Ponder, they could get Brainstorm locked. Oh, actually, kind of think we take the Lorien Revealed here because that's a guaranteed land. Defense grid is a pain to deal with. We can't fight through a defense grid. And it's possible we don't even really slow them down. But I do think we Lorien Revealed and then we hope that they get a non-basic. Yeah. It's hard. Thoughtseize is a very good card against their deck. Force is a mediocre card because they can just overpower it with tons of interaction. Please get a non-basic. I think they may be practically mono blue though. Yeah. They are not getting a basic. They are pondering. And we'll have to hope that they whiff on this. But the odds of them whiffing are low. But I will take the known land versus the possible land. They chose not to shuffle, so they did find a land. Yeah, not the best draw. We're just going to surveil here. We're pretty dead in the water. And taking, I don't think taking the defense grid would have made a huge difference here. Because we don't have, interaction. We're practically as likely to draw another Thoughtseize as we are to draw other force stack interaction. Okay, they're opting not to cast it, which is showing me that they're respecting Daze, which is great for us because basically gives us an extra turn. Not that we can necessarily do much with that turn. Opting to Brainstorm with that on the stack, that's fine. They don't want us to double Daze their Brainstorm, I guess. They do get a perfect Brainstorm here. So their hand could be anything at this point, but it probably will include a Show and Tell very soon. Post board will definitely bring in the consigns and the force negations. We'll take out these fatal pushes that are clogging up our hand currently. If our Surveil finds a Brainstorm, that is gas in the tank. We'll see whether they fetch a non-basic when they fetch. I presume they're going to fetch eventually. Undercity Sewers. That is going in the yard. I know that casts Kaito, but we need to draw something more proactive than that. Hard cast Kaito on turn 4 is not good enough. Draw through. I don't want to play at the Wasteland, but I think we kind of have to. And now they know not to fetch a second color. But this does keep them off Surveil. And we'll just be honest and play this out and pass. So they'll almost certainly defense grid before they go for it because we're not applying any pressure whatsoever. They could have Murktide, but I seriously doubt it. I'm not going to play around Murktide. Murktide would be a really good plan B in a deck like this. Actually, you know what? They could have Oculus or something like that. I think it makes sense to go ahead and hit their graveyard. So I'll do that during the upkeep. And if they spend a turn playing defense grid, it's possible that we draw into a force and we can use that force the subsequent turn by just paying a bunch of mana. Okay, Brazen Borrower is a start. It's not a great card. It can essentially time walk our opponent by forcing them to play the defense grid a second time. The other option is to just, there's the defense grid. So we're just kind of buying a turn, but buying a turn doesn't really mean anything if we're not moving the game forward. Okay, they're fetching. They may just get a Surveil. Okay, they're like mono blue, Omnitell, I think. Sometimes they'll splash white for Teferi. Doesn't seem to be what's going on here. Lotus Petal. Okay, they've got tons of mana. Swamp's not a great draw. I mean, we could Kaito here, but it's not really going to do much at all. Kaito plus. The other option is we just Brazen Borrower just to buy a turn and hope we draw some interaction, but they'll just replay this. We already have 2 bad cards we're going to put back, so I will play at the land. Yeah, I think there's a possibility that they just don't go for it. Okay. Not feeling favored. They do have enough mana. Like if they just play a land, they may have the mana to go ahead and replay it and show and tell next turn? Okay, now they have the mana to do both, and the game is over. I'm not even going to show them Kaito if they just put like Omniscience into play. I will look at what their Atraxa is. I can't put Kaito in. Okay, there's Omniscience. They're going to Atraxa, and then we'll take a look at their deck. Atraxa is their last card in hand, assuming they didn't shuffle it away. Okay, or they can just Emrakul, and we don't get to see their hand. Yep, that was pretty brutal. All right, well, thankfully we've got Thoughtseize, we've got Force Negation. We've got all the tools to potentially win, but now we have to win 2 in a row. So 4 Consigns in. Not a great card against their deck, but it does something. I'm going to take the Spell Bombs out. I don't think those are good at all. I don't know that... Oh, yeah, Fatal Push all come out. I don't think Explosives is worth it just to be able to deal with... So I think we stop here. I think this is our final configuration. I didn't see any red or anything. Let's do it. Definitely an option of cutting a land here, like a Wasteland. They didn't really... They will play some non-basics. Like they probably have a Surveil land in there somewhere. Yeah, this is fine. They don't win immediately, so this gives us a few turns to set up. I'm going to ponder, and then I'm just going to start playing a Bowmaster every turn. We're drawing to a lot of forces. We've got 6 forces in. We've got 2 Dazes. And, of course, the 4 Thoughtseize. They can turn 1, but I don't think they turn 1 against our deck. I think that would be pretty reckless. This is an easy shuffle. I don't want any of these. All right, we got to land anyway, so that's not too bad. I'm not going to complain. We don't have a blue card to go with Force. And they do have Ancient Tomb. They could pedal, and they could just do it. Or I think next turn, most likely, it comes out. All right, I think the play is we do waste this. See if they do anything here. They are opting to tap it. What do they have that's 2 mana? Oh, just Lorien Revealed? Yeah, that's fine. It's gone. They have double Lorien Revealed. Okay, well, they were able to use both of their mana. Good for them. Lorien Revealed is a very good card when you have Omniscience in your deck. I'm going to ponder again. Looking for this exactly. We'll take the... we'll take all these. I want the Force Negation. Can't imagine them doing anything. Consign. Yeah. Most likely I'll want to pitch Consign to Force Negation. And then we're just going to start our Bowmaster Brigade. Yeah, I'm not going to hold up Consign. I hope that they don't have another tomb into the defense grid. That would suck. I think they probably just have a bunch of cantrips now. Yep. And they're able to cast these cantrips around Bowmasters. But I will main phase Bowmasters next turn. And then if they force it, that's okay. And then I'll just keep main phase. I'll keep main phasing them. But I'm not going to use a main phase to defend a force. Or I'm not going to use a Force Negation to defend a force on Bowmaster. But I'm optimistic that their deck is cantrip rich enough that Bowmasters will sufficiently hobble them. And again, I said optimistic enough. I'm not confident. I am optimistic. Next turn, we have not only Force of... we may be able to have Hardcast Force of Negation up. Yeah, we're just doing face up. We're not trying to ambush anything because they are a good player and they are going to play around what we're trying to do. Just assume, give your opponent charity that they're not going to just... Okay, Plow would be great here. Rest in Peace makes absolutely no difference in our deck. We boarded out our Nethergoyfs. So they are playing white. That's good to know. Okay, so there is a temptation to try to find a Wasteland. I just want to make sure that, yeah, the Tundra was the revealed card. So if I'd been paying attention, I would have known that white was coming. All right, I'm going to brainstorm here, and we are looking for Wasteland. All right, we got it. We got it. This is great. Put these 2 lands back. I am going to go and just waste to restrict their options, and I'm going to go ahead and Tomio here. Tomio can create clues, which are of great consequence as the game progresses. I could have held up a second form of interaction in Consign, but I'm not optimistic Consign does much other than stops that one card. And we're going to have a 3rd land, so we can just chill and Force Negation. Hold up Force Negation. All right, they don't have lands, so I think we've won this game. I hope I'm not getting too far ahead of myself saying so. We'll play another Orcish Bowmaster here. And again, I'm main phasing to get maximum damage. Now we can attack. We have Surveil land up. We've got a clue. We still have Consign up if we need it to stop a... probably the most common thing that they would have here again. Yeah, I think they totally misunderstood what our deck does if they're playing this. they thought we were Reanimator. Which makes sense. I mean, like, blue-black Reanimator is probably, like, played at, like, 5 or 6 times the rate. I'm just going to consign this. And if they force it, I will be okay with that. And we will just hope to draw a blue card so that we can have... Okay, we stopped it. Okay, another consign. That's great. Attack with all our cards. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we ping, this does accelerate the clock, and it kills them 1 turn sooner, so we should ping. It's like a very slight difference. Okay. Let's go to the next game. I'd be stunned if they can get through this. Game 3, no sideboard changes. We didn't really learn a lot about their deck. I don't think Harbinger's good. Didn't see any reason to keep Spellbomb or Fatal Push in. I mean, Rest in Peace is all the more reason not to play Nile Spellbomb. The Nethergoyfs come out. I think we do pull the Nethergoyfs in favor of Engineered Explosives. Because if they're playing Rest in Peace, if they keep it in, it just completely neuters Nethergoyf in terms of any reach that it might have. I think we can bring in a Harbinger just as an additional blue card. Again, I'm not wild about bringing these in, but I do think they're better than Nethergoyfs. We're on the draw too, which makes Nethergoyf even weaker. Right, this is an obvious mulligan. This is also a mulligan, unfortunately. This, oh my goodness, this is a mulligan. It's possible they just roll really slowly and we can keep this. This feels way underpowered. Okay, this is definitely the best hand. We're going to keep. We're going to put back Engineered Explosives, a land. I think we put back Brazen Borrower. And we may be able to force something and then draw into a blue card and force the second thing. Tomio is a very reasonable game plan here. All right, Island Ponder start. It hurts really bad to mulligan to 4. Let me tell you. The first many years of playing Magic together, I never would have dreamed of mulliganing that second hand that had lands and spells, just like hoping that, like, okay, if they've got a slow start, we're all right. But I've just learned over time that you can't mess around. And yeah, sometimes they have a slow start. Sometimes they just go Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Show and Tell. And all we need to do is buy time. The longer the game goes on, the better we get in terms of getting set up, getting Bowmasters down, getting Tomios down. They've got 6 cards in hand, though. It's not a good feeling. All right, the good news is we did draw a land that we can use to start cracking clues next turn. So we can, if we don't have to use our force this turn, we may be able to force twice. Island cycling, well, that's a good sign that we won't have to use our force this turn. And at this point, aside from land, well, I'd say probably like our blue count is like at least 30, 35 cards. Like almost our entire deck is blue. We even boarded in extra blue cards. If they plow this, I'm not going to flinch. All right. That was our way to draw cards, but I don't think it's correct to defend there. Thoughtseize is a great rip. Let's go ahead and tear their hand open. We're making it look like we have consign. Holy cow, their hand. Their hand. All right. Gosh. We had to take the Show and Tell. And then they have the third land and one more, and they've got the One Ring going. Yeah. Show and Tell is the card, the critical card to take here. And this is why Thoughtseize is so good. Like, Thoughtseize just saved us having to 2-for-1 ourselves. They can find another one. We're still in trouble. 5 cards in the grip. They can Lorien revealed. Yep, that's what they're doing. Wasteland off the top helps us. It's just temporary reprieve. I'm glad I didn't board out my Wastelands. They are playing at least 2 non-basics here, plus the Ancient Tomb, so probably at least 6, maybe 7. Another Thoughtseize would be great, but we are going to need to draw cards. Yeah, I'm going to put her on the table, and we're going to force the One Ring, and we're going to try to pull ahead with clues. This is an uphill battle. I'd say we maybe have a 30% chance of winning. They kept their top, so it's probably a land. Show and Tell is death. It is Omniscience into Emrakul. Okay, so here's the decision. We plow this. They probably don't have land. Otherwise, they would just One Ring here. We plow this, then we have clues, and we can start drawing. Or if we force this plow, they know we have force. We've already paused long enough that they can know that we have force. Blue card. The One Ring is devastating. We could clue into like a Thoughtseize and take the One Ring. We could clue plus draw Consign. This is the big decision. I think the decision is let it go. Yep, and we're just chilling. We have lots of live top decks. Okay, that's not one, but that is a Surveil land. Now we could have Hardcast's Force Negation. This is the Force. I'm glad I saved it. We would not necessarily have survived here. They have the Force back. They don't. All right, so we have to stop One Ring. We've gotten through 2 of their show and tells. See if we can find a Force Negation or a Consign. That is going in the graveyard. Wasteland is not terrible. Go ahead and fire it off now. And we're hellbent. If they draw Ancient Tomb, the game's over. Once this One Ring resolves, the game is over. Flooded Strand. Okay, so we have an extra turn. We need a Thoughtseize or a Consign very badly. That is not the draw. So we play this out. We have Hardcast Force if we draw it. How many forces do we have in our deck? Like, we draw Brainstorm. We brainstorm that back. I think it's better to just live in the world where bluffing, having Consign up. They have tons of land in their deck. Defense Grid. Can't do anything about that. I would definitely Consign that if the option were there. It's slipping away. I don't think we've made any mistakes. We've just not gotten what we needed. All right. This is not going to do the trick, but it is a game piece. We're just going to plus and we're going to keep attacking. I'll Surveil next turn. Yeah. If they find a land, One Ring, and that's the ball game. Wow. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. So options, I think we hit with Kaito first, and then we Surveil. Trying to think. Yeah. My opponent said, dang, back-to-back losing to Wasteland. Hey, you haven't lost yet, buddy. You haven't not lost yet. Okay. And we could plus and potentially take a turn off, but like being able to Surveil is so much more important here. Harbinger doesn't do it. Explosives does blow up that thing. Here's my thing. We take the explosives. We can at least blow that. And, yeah, I mean, if they find the One Ring, we're still screwed. I think we try to find something proactive. So good. All right. Now we have an answer to One Ring. Let's pass. And even with this out, we do have an answer to it as long as they don't have an answer as well. They could very well have drawn a Force. Okay. Oh. Staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. Whoa. Hey, Scoob. All right. So, options. One, we just attack for 4 here. Let's see. So 13. So we go up to 5. They drop to 8. So it doesn't change anything on the clock. We can just, I mean, they fetch. We'll assume they're going to fetch. So we'll assume we have a 3-turn clock. Let's come in. My cat has made an appearance in the Be Excellent Cinematic Universe. Wasteland. Get in my belly. I want this card too. I'm going to put it on top of library. And then I'm going to put this even on the tippy top. And now we are going to go after the tomb. Yeah, now they have to draw. Because if we don't go after the tomb, then they could potentially One Ring again. Or, do lots of other stuff. All right, we're probably not going to win here. But I'm going to hold out hope. Hope springs eternal. Ponder's fine. My cat is eating my Greek yogurt. And I know she is lactose intolerant, so she should not be doing that. I'm going to shoo her. Kitty, no. Okay, so they have found another land. We can't do anything in step. Yeah, I actually don't want that Consign now, but I'm going to draw it anyway. I need to find a Force. I might get desperate and like ponder for a Force, but we are limited in what mana we can spend here. So we draw our Consign, our redundant Consign that we don't want, that I foolishly put on top of my deck. I totally should have milled that. We can kill them in 2 swings, but we can kill them in 1 swing next turn. So we'll just attack for 4 and we'll do this Surveil again. Opponent just said GG's. Come on, opponent, you got one more draw. Did they shuffle? They chose not to shuffle. Okay. I'm not going to presume that they're saying GG's because they're losing. I'm going to presume that they've got like the KO card on top of the deck. Like, yeah, we found the force. We found the show and tell. And I'm going to play like that. Wasteland would be fine. Bowmasters, not good enough. I think we've been both of these. Days, it's a high price to pay, but I think we ponder just in case we can find a force here. And we have gone off consign here. This is a shuffle. Okay. So we have to hope whatever they do is dazeable. I mean, they said GG's, like, you don't say GG's till the game is over in my book. They are going to fetch. I mean, they could just draw a show and tell right here and Omniscience into Emrakul, and there's nothing we can do about it. The game is not over. It's so frustrating when people say GG's when the game is not necessarily over. Okay. This is why Daze is a good card, even in your control deck. Crazy that Daze played such a critical role there. Again, if anybody says Daze doesn't belong in your control deck, that's a tempo deck. Show them this video. My goodness. All right, we're 2-2. Let's go defend our honor and get the positive record. See you in round 5. Final round, we're up against a player that likely is on who knows what. They play a broad variety of decks. No thanks. Let's see if we can do better. This is a lot better. My goodness, this hand is fine. This is definitely like an 8 out of 10 hand. I think the card we put back is Borrower. Yeah, I like to ponder to find a second land. We're just going to start Marsh Flats, no play, preserve information, and then we can Netherglyph later. I don't want to lose because I get wasted. Well, okay, so hear me out. We could just Underground Sea Netherglyph, and they may not waste us here. If they're on a combo deck, I am going to want to shorten their life. For your health. This is a reference to Dr. Steve Brule, who thinks that drinking red wine is excellent for your health. That's like the whole shtick is John C. Reilly talking about how healthy red wine is. I mean, I could just daze here. They could daze back. Either way is fine. And then I got the Wasteland. Yeah, we're just going to tempo them this game. Sometimes tempo is the right way. I do want to waste. And it's totally possible that they just, play another land, life goes on, and we just got 2 damage on them. But it's also possible that like has a severe impact on the game flow, and it looks like it's going to. All right, so this gives me Nadu vibes. They've been to Force. I doubt they're playing Daze. I think this is the Ponder moment. We have Force up. I want to deal more damage. I want to also find another Wasteland. I don't think they're playing Wastelands of their own. We did find a second land. Kaito is not really what we're looking for. Borrower could be really good, actually. Okay, so I think we just put Kaito on bottom, and we're just not going to draw it yet. Borrower does have implications in a matchup like this one, but I think it's also a pitch to Force, but I'd probably pitch the Strix. But I'll preserve the option of doing that because we've already played our land for turn. We're going to get some more information about what they're likely on. If they're on Breakfast, Nullspellbomb is quite good against that. And I suspect they're on Breakfast. But they could be on just straight, like, kind of like Bant. Brainstorm is fine. We've already got them down to 15. The thing is, if they're on Breakfast, you don't want to crack the Spellbomb. But Spellbomb does accelerate me and draws me a card. Fetching. They plow, that'll be sad. Okay, Ponder. Yeah, they're just spinning their wheels. I'm going to let them ponder. I need to keep up my Force. We haven't seen an appearance of, like, Urza Saga or anything like that that suggests they're on Breakfast, so I'm going to assume that they're just on Bant Nadu, and I'm going to go ahead and crack through the Spellbomb because it increases the damage output, and I think and I still hold the Borrower in case of emergency. This ups the clock by 1 each turn, which is consequential. This also, just in case they are going to try to like Murktide me or something, or Oculus or something, this is not a bad defensive play. I don't think it's likely they do that, but I'm just showing all the different justifications for going the approach that I did. 4-4, we're on a 3-turn clock. We have lots of interaction up. If they combo now, I'll feel like a fool for having thrown that away. Okay, Nadu is going to get the Force. It's probably going to be forced back. I think Strix is the card that gets pitched here. This is going to get forced back. Oh, Days. Okay, so they are playing Days. Okay, well, don't I feel like a horse's patoot? All right, but they don't have a land drop to give, so we are going to get an attack in before they can start going crazy. All right, so options. I think the best option is to see if we can find Fetch and Fatal Push. Yep, we can find exactly what we say we want to find. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, and then the other card that's going to go back, I do need the Borrower just in case. Put that, like, I think the game is over. Yeah, I'm going to put back Borrower. Now I'm going to play this. Go ahead and fetch. Get Underground Sea here. And again, I do believe the game to be over. There's no way they're blocking here. If they block, that's totally fine with me. But I do need a Fatal Push now. I don't have the option of waiting. I just would hate to like flip it like a Dryad Arbor or something into play, and then like they have that for blocking. Okay, they get the trigger. Cephalid Illusionist. Okay, so they may be able to combo me anyway now, which is sad because I've played pretty disciplined. But you know, you try to pressure them. They just have Nadu and the Illusion, or if they just have Nomad and the Illusionist, the game's over. Usually they play the Nomad first before they play the Nadu out. But we'll have information going into games 2 and games 3. Brainstorm is not going to do anything. Like, it could draw us into a Daze. We have one more Daze left in our deck. Yep, they have the combo. Yeah, and if I just parked this out there and taken the card disadvantage, we would have done okay. So I do need to go ahead and just brainstorm here and try to find the Daze. Okay, we'll see their deck. But I screwed up. I don't know that I screwed up, but I mean, certainly it looks like I screwed up. If you think it was reasonable for me to make the play I did, please leave a comment with a timestamp. I'm just going to F6. Sometimes they have like the actual end game thing in their hand, and you have to make them play to that. You always make Breakfast play it out. It does have a fail rate. It's just a very low fail rate. Narcomoeba 1. So if either Dread Return or the other guy is in their hand, then they can't really win the Thassa's Oracle. And we haven't seen Thassa's Oracle yet. It could be they just stop because they have Thassa's Oracle in their hand. They may not be playing Cabal Therapy. I'm trying to think of why they would stop here. Because what they can do is they can just play from hand next turn. Okay, there it is. So there was no reason that I can think of for them to stop there, but they stopped, giving us false hope. So I see Prismatic Ending, which is bad. Bad against us. It's bad to see that. It means we probably need to take out another Goyf, and we probably just need to not try to tempo them. But if they, I hope you'll entertain that there's a universe in which they don't find the combo, and we win. Yeah. Okay. I think the spell bombs do come in, even though they're pretty weak. Like, they will frequently just not use the graveyard. They can use Nadu. It's still good. Harbinger is quite good in this matchup. I think those are the only 2 cards that we bring in. We could bring in Engineered Explosives, but I'm not convinced it's particularly strong. The benefit of Nile Spellbomb over cards like Grafdigger's Cage is that you can cantrip through it. So I'm going to take out my Nethergoyfs. I am going to keep the Baleful Strix because they are quite good against... Oh, and I'm going to take out a land. What am I going to take out? I don't want to take out a Wasteland. I don't want to take out a blue source, but I think it's fine to take out a blue source. Like, we're going down to 13 blue sources, which is somewhat dangerous in terms of like the consistency of our deck, but we do need those Wastelands. And I don't want to take out the basic Swamp because we do have Harbinger, and Harbinger, again, is quite good against them. So, yeah, it's going to be the island. Let's dance. And we'll see how screwed I get by taking that island out. This is a mulligan, obviously. I'm just trying to think if an island was in this, would it be a keep? Think it would. Okay, this is fine. So I'm going to put the redundant Spellbomb on the bottom. Not a great hand, but not a terrible hand. We've got Insulation against their very explosive things they can do. I'm just going to play it out now. Around Days. They don't turn 1 you, but they can turn 2 you. So you need to have Daze mana up for turn 2. Strand. Fetch. Tundra for Nomad. I will fight the other card. If we don't draw anything, I think it's totally fine to just waste and wait a turn. Yeah, I'm going to waste here. And I'm aware that I could be wasting like a Urza Saga, but Urza Saga is actually worse. Now that they have the card out, like Urza Saga is not that great of a card. They could go Petal. This doesn't affect me. I don't use my graveyard anymore now that I took out another Nethergoyf, and I'm very glad I did now. Harbinger is a pretty good rip. We're going to chill. If we can screw them off their colors, that's very good for us. We have double force up if we absolutely need it. Wow, they don't have anything. Oh, they're just going to combat first. So we're looking for land number 2. They're just drawing a card, that's fine. Okay, Urza Saga. If we can draw a land, please let us draw a land. I'm so tempted to just, for the sake of increasing the likelihood of drawing a land, like going ahead and brainstorming here. Shuko's fine. We can race that even if we lock down the... Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a brainstorm here. We brainstorm here, well... Okay, let's think about this. So, let's say hypothetically we brainstorm. We increase the likelihood of finding a land. We can just go fetch a swamp, but that does take a land out of our deck that we can find later. We don't want to put back any of these cards, really. We need the forces to defend our Harbinger. It's quite possible they have a Daze in hand and we need to force that. My thinking is there's also the possibility, like maybe we don't need both of these forces. Let's go ahead and brainstorm. Bowmasters is also a live rip. Okay, this is great. This is great. So we don't need the second land. Put this back. I'm going to put back the force. We'll draw it. Then we'll fetch. And then we'll have both Daze and force. Okay, and now we play this out. Go get a swamp. Go get another island. Blue, blue, black, Harbinger. I think if this resolves, we win the game. They are going to force. I'm prepared to go to Hellbent to defend this. Because it takes out the Urza Saga, and then we have now Spellbound to protect, and they won't ever be able to cast. I think they may also have a Daze. Okay? That is phenomenal. We are favored. We have our colors. Yeah. They can't win because of the Nile Spellbomb. I mean, okay, so technically they can win. They can start doing their thing with the Cephal Illusionist. Okay, they're not attacking. I was going to say they can start doing their thing with the Cephal Illusionist, but if one of their key cards comes up first, let's ponder. Bowmasters would be phenomenal. There we go. And I think I just played in a Daze just for pressure. I saw a Brazen Borrower. That'll also do the trick. This should accelerate their demise quite nicely. And I would be stunned if they have a path to victory now. Again, like the path is they start exiling stuff or discarding stuff from the top of their deck, milling it. And then they're able to just play this out just to further reinforce that they should concede. So we can go to the next game so I can go eat a nice lunch with my wife who's waiting. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go eat Korean. I could have just drawn through that spell bomb, but I don't think it really matters. Yeah, everything came down to having double protect. And the fact that we're winning with double force, that just reinforces that like we played very well here. So I feel good about this game, regardless of how the next game goes, because we'll have to beat it on the play or on the draw. Yeah, and I guess I could have put a borrower in and just ended it this turn, but I don't think it really matters. They're making us beat them down, hoping we'll show more of our deck, but we're not going to. Okay, cool. I don't know. I shouldn't try to read into my opponent's intentions. Maybe they genuinely have an out in their deck that I don't know about. Okay. Felt good. Do we put the island in place of the wasteland? It feels super duper dicey to not. And I wouldn't cut a wasteland is the thing. Yeah, I'm just going to roll like it is. Well, I mean, Nell Spellbomb was installation there. Also, our opponent knows a little bit more about our deck, so it's going to be harder to catch them unawares like we did there. Okay, let's do it. And we did mulligan twice there, so that was a win on a mull to 5, I believe. This is a fine hand. I'm going to keep this. This has Saga covered, has the combo covered, which does use creatures. It has a Harbinger and a path to a swamp. That's fine. So now we have to open... I mean, if we just play the Delta, then we have Fatal Push and we have Daze on the Fatal Push. It's possible they have that covered and we just lose anyway. but I would like to surveil. We've got so many lands now that I don't want to draw anymore. Okay. Just coming in for a hug first. They are an attack and then play spells type player. Play lands. Okay. That is going to get wasted. So I think in instep, I'm just going to surveil. And I want to iterate. We do have a second path to the swamp. Undercity sewers. That's an above average draw. I'll take it. I can't use it immediately. I'm going to go ahead and waste. Okay. We're just going to chill for a few turns. The construct plan can sometimes get you. They do have a lot of lands. They've got like 20 lands in their deck. They're going to come for another hug. Bowmasters would be a great rip. They don't have the ability to daze back. They still don't have the ability to daze back. Okay, so I definitely want to start taking up. Oh. Yeah, this is a good draw. I'm going to go ahead and do it. No. The problem is, okay, we Bowmasters here, and suddenly they can pay for days if they have force, and then they have an entire turn cycle. We need to wait. Fatal Push is a lot safer than Bowmaster here because, well, it's not really that much safer. Actually, yeah, if they just have like, they won't have Nadu here, but I'll instep Bowmaster after we've gotten through all this. They'll probably just brainstorm, and that's fine. Don't Teferi me. They do have days up. I think it's worth it because I want to get days out of their hand so I can Harbinger. Okay, wow. That's great for us. They can create a dude, and then they can redirect it, and that's what they're going to do. That's totally legit play. That does tap them out. It means that Harbinger, yeah, they're going to have blue and white, but they won't have access to Nadu. Yeah, they're going to redirect this. Okay. Yeah, that's a heads up play. All right. So there is, once again, a risk in doing what we're doing here. Safer thing to do. So the problem is, if we let them use this ability, they can go get the Shuko, and then they still have Nomad. We could ponder and potentially find a Wasteland for the Tundra, which would be really strong. I kind of want to do that. I'm going to play super safe. And then we can even decide how many of our cards we want to keep. Yeah, I'm going to play super safe here. Well, yeah, if we find a Wasteland, it's so good. Don't think these cards are what we're looking for. Brazen Borrower, we already have one. Yeah, let's any order shuffle. Okay, that's not exactly what we're looking for. So we have Fatal Push or Bowmasters next turn. We only have Dazes or Insulation though. So if they just let this go and then they play the card, we have to push and then they can still combo off with Shuko. Gosh, this is so hard. And a lot of people might be like, why didn't you just play the Harbinger and shut them off? Like their deck is super squirrely. We have to respect like these unlikely but possible lines. I don't want to lose at this point. I'm going to play out the Delta and we can just grab the Swamp and we're going to just let them get the Shuko. It's actually like really good for us if they create a token, because that'll give us the turn we need to bridge. They could also Nadu if they have a green source, and yeah. Okay, we're going to just chill. Okay, they're just floating, which is the scariest thing they can do here. They could go get a Pithing Needle and lock us off of this. I don't think that's likely, but it is something we could do. Okay, I think I am going to go ahead and just fetch the Swamp here. This does turn on Fatal Push for the turn if we need to use it. We are going to need the Swamp. This does tell our opponent that we likely have Harbinger. So it's Fatal Push plus days against the world here, basically. And if they have a force, that's GG. Yeah, actually, I think it's GG if they just have... That's actually fine for us. Ponder. I mean, I can actually just Bowmaster here and potentially punish this. They can't win anymore this turn cycle. Wait, did they play a land? They did not play a land. So they could just drop a land, but we would have days, but we'd be tapped out for their days. So I'm so tempted to punish this and get the Nomad off, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because they could just Illusionist, and we need to be able to respond to Illusionist. Yeah, again, like If what I'm talking about doesn't make any sense, this is my internal like reasoning engine. if you use like DeepSeek, or if you used OpenAI, what is it? 401. They're horrible at naming things. 01 reasoning model. You can like put it in reasoning mode. You can see how it's reasoning through these. I'm just doing my best to reason through like the potential lines they have. Okay, this is fine. Are they going to use that mana for any? Okay, so they did find the land, so they can still find the illusionist, so we can still die if we tap out. We're going to take this. Okay, it burns off. Now I believe it is safe. And they could daze here, and that's fine, because that's one less daze we have to worry about in the future. Or force is fine, too. Okay, they're fetching. They could have Veil is another thing they could have. Yeah, Veil's fine. They get a card. I'll just ping them. No, actually, I'll ping this. Okay, so now we get a choice. We could block here and just kill it. And frankly, I think we do. Yeah, I just don't want them on the table. They have hexproof. They don't have protection. Okay, wow. We got through that turn cycle. Again, it may look like nothing happened. Like, why were you freaking out? What's the big deal? Who cares? You know, but no, that was like a really important turn. That was the turn to get through. Actually, I'm going to undo. I am going to tap out of blue completely. I'll just go get one more land out of my deck. And now we're going to cast this, and we have Fatal Push Up. This might get forced. Okay. I think at this point, they do have... I think it's better to Spellbomb than it is to rely on Fatal Push. They might be able to remove that with a Plow, but they're probably not going to have the mana to also Nadu our faces off. Not if we daze anyway. They may have to Prismatic. They can't Prismatic. They have to exactly have Plow here to remove her. So we've got the graveyard angle covered. And this game, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to just leave it. There's no benefit to having it in the yard. Like with Nethergoyf, it was buffing our Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf's not in our deck anymore. And like this deck that we're playing against, like has special significance to me because I played a lot of Breakfast before Nadu was printed, and then I played like 10 leagues with Nadu Breakfast a long time ago. I have no desire to pick this deck up again. It's just not my style of deck. But it like there's a sentimentality. Like there was the Nadu, there was the Breakfast era. Be excellent. Yeah, I just like playing fair magic. I like diffusing bombs. I don't like setting bombs. I'd be stunned if they can't find a Plow to remove this. The game is not over by any means. Our daze, which has been our sole protection for most of this game, is just getting worse and worse with every turn cycle. Okay, they're Prismatic ending this. I might as well just bomb their graveyard. This tells me that they may have a line with Wizard. And there is sadly nothing we can do about this except daze it. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so they have Wizard in hand. We're going to need our Fatal Push next turn. There's drawing a card. All right. Fatal Push on Wizard to win the game because they don't... Oh, wow. Scoob. Yeah. Gonna force? All right. Let's go ahead and go in. I'm just going to hold the borrower as... and we're just going to play slow, deliberate Magic the Gathering. This is not going to go anywhere. Nadu is definitely a threat. Yep. Nadu is definitely a threat. Okay, my life. They've unlocked their potential Nadu here. All I can do is Spellbomb. Let's see. Yeah, so I could Spellbomb them to draw a card, and then I can Fatal Push. Then we're right back to where we were. I don't daze here. Gosh, this sucks. When I was saying we weren't out of the woods, you can play like really tight, and then they still have moves. They're down to one card, but they're going to get a card whenever I push, and they're also going to be able to activate. I think I'll let that go. All right, and now I am going to... Is this... Oh yeah, we can just target. We don't even have to crack this to turn it on. I am going to go ahead and do this now, just to minimize the likelihood of them flipping a force. They got a Nomad. So scary. So scary. They still got a trigger on the stack, but it's dead. Nomad in hand. And then, okay, what else did you draw off your draw 3 for 3 mana? That also ends the game. I can't wait for that card to like fall out of favor and be like power crept out of the format, which might take a while. Okay, that's fine. Okay, did they find another land? What did they find? Okay. Oh, did they find Prismatic Ending? That sucks for us. That sucks for us. My goodness, they keep finding what they need. I guess I could have like Shuko'd this out and dazed. Actually, or I could have Brazen Borrowed and dazed. That might have actually been better. Yeah, it's hard to tell. But I think our Prismatic or our Now Spellbound is not long for this world. I'm just going to attack, and we're going to hold up our double Brazen Borrower. We're just going to hope to the high heavens that there is not something they can do here. But I think Prismatic Ending can end our momentum. And then not, if they find another Nadu, which they might already have a Nadu in hand for all we know. Orm's Chant, this represents, they probably have freaking Nadu. I bounce this out of play. I daze here. We buy a turn. They don't have a land. Their hand is Nomad Encore, Prismatic Ending, probably a wizard. They have the Prismatic Ending to kill this so they can go off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to daze here. It sucks, but like, at least I'm getting another Surveil if I get another turn. Now they pay. Now, I could bounce this out of play, but they have the Nomad. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to cast this. I don't think bouncing Shuko out is of consequence whatsoever. We've reduced the clock. Now they can kill us. There's the Nadu. Again, all they need is for one of these Shuko activations to get them a land, and then they get Nomad. There was nothing we could have done. I'll stand by that. Like, I don't genuinely think that there was much we could have done here. Like, if they get a land. Okay, they have the other combo that ends the game that we have to deal with. Bouncing it out of play is not enough. We need to... Tomio doesn't do anything. Yeah, we bounce it out. They just combo out next turn, I think. And they get, a trigger off of it. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. It's a above average draw, but drawing that off of Now Spellbound accomplishes nothing. We need specifically like a Force of Will so we can force this on the way back down. Yeah. We can't apply any damage if we don't borrow it out of play, but getting them to 3 doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, I just think we're just dead, sadly. Like, there is like one line that might make sense. Basically they have to screw up. I mean, I can already solve the puzzle very easily here. They've got Ponder, they got Prismatic Ending. They can just, there's the first trigger. They got another Nadu. Good game. I'm not going to play anymore. Yeah, frustrating into the league, but like, I hope you can understand like why I was doing what I was doing. And I was just maximizing the likelihood of us getting out of that. But unfortunately, they found the planes. I think the basic planes was critical. I think they opened basic planes. So yeah, I mean, that happens, unfortunately. The deck felt great. All the games were close. I'm trying to think, were any of those not close? Yeah, all 5 of them we lost in 3 games. We did win that one game, just 2-0. I think this is a good breakfast matchup, but just don't count out breakfast. They have a lot of reach. So this is really like what I'm seriously considering playing. I didn't feel it too much going down to 2 days. In fact, days felt kind of underpowered in the Nadu matchup. Like, it did save us that one game, but there wasn't a lot to board in. 3 Hydroblasts might be too many, but I'm not sure what you put in that slot. Force Negation is bad against breakfast specifically. Like, you don't want to board that in. Harbinger was great, like the entire league. I'm glad we have a mana base that supports us being able to play that. Yeah. I mean, it is a heartbreaker, like losing that game against Nadu. I was really hoping that they wouldn't just have Nadu on top of Wizards, and I played to all the contingencies. Even if we'd Bowmaster their... So there was like an opportunity where we could have been more aggressive and like Bowmaster one of their cantrips, but it was just like a Ponder. I don't think it would have won this the game. Yeah, like the problem with that deck is because so many of the draws are live and so many of the draws result in just insane value for them. Like, okay, they got a Nadu, they get 3 cards, right? And like they exhaust your answers very quickly, and they were able to assemble a lot of mana, and we couldn't find our wastelands to deal with them. And as a result, Brazen Borrower was bad. Brazen Borrower is normally okay against their deck. Flashing it in early could have been mildly consequential, but they had 8 life when they ended the game. I don't think we were getting there. If you see some line and it's not just like, oh, that was dumb. Why didn't you just do X, Y, Z? Like, there are always those types of comments, but like if you have serious constructive criticism for points at which with information that was available at the time, not information that was revealed later, like the fact that they didn't have a days in hand, stuff like that. Like, please leave comments with timestamps. It's super helpful for me. And I reply to every comment. I make it a point to reply to every comment. You don't have to keep telling me I'm mispronouncing Tamio, because again, I'll say that she is from the Kamigawa plane and Japanese is the language of that plane, and her name is pronounced in the Japanese manner. I'll quit the pedantic stuff. I had a lot of fun. These were all very fun, interactive games where I had to think really hard. I'm going to keep thinking really hard. And if you want to think really hard, come here and think with me. If you just don't want to think that hard, you want to turn off your brain, go play like Stompy or Oops or something like that. But like, I will stand by my point that I love defusing bombs. It's a huge thing that I love to do. And I think it really is like, there's like a very high skill ceiling, and I don't think I'm even close to the skill ceiling of what a control player can achieve. So thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.